Just Fear. Short stories by Joseph Martin. Chapter 1. The Accursed Haveli. Prologue. The Chowdhury Haveli was built on a site that was once a mass grave. It was built way back in 1927, but the site had a gory and much ancient history. Gambavan Devi, the British Indian province of Central India, 1839. The pit was a mass grave. Human corpses lay sprawled in an ugly heap with barely a thin coverlet of soil over them. It seemed as if mud was strewn only to cover the grisly sight. From above, it was a gory scene, a jumble of human limbs, all twisted and skewed, half-decaying skulls and disemboweled torsos. The heavy heat prevailing in the region would soon transform the mass grave into human mulch. For meters around the pit, the air would grow foul, with a stench of disease, blood and death. The 8 villages of Gambavan Devi had been hit by a year of drought, then by plague. Men and cattle succumbed to the disease like dried leaves in autumn. Wood fell insufficient to consign the deceased, and the villagers irreligiously buried their dead, more out of the fear of infecting the healthy. The corpses were hauled in the pit like sacks at a loading dock by strangers with absolutely no respect at all. Weeks later, the then ruling English took the matter into their own hands. They adopted the quickest way, the kill to control policy. The British cavalry rode into the villages like a horde of demons from hell, raiding the villages and slaughtering every deceased person. Even those individuals showing mild symptoms of the disease. All these slaughtered ones were tossed in the pit, but all of them were not corpses. Many still held a spark of life in them. And according to the religious scriptures, the villagers' belief, the dead and the live should never be rested together. Gambavan Devi, 1991, the state of Madhya Pradesh, Free India. The bungalow was known as Chowdhury Haveli by all. It was a sprawling building, a double-story structure of slate-colored solid blocks of stone. It had large windows adorned with glass, wrought iron, winding stairs on the outside, stone flooring and stairs inside, etc. All colonial style. Everything was solid but drab, one of the many remnants of pre-independence era. It had seen nearly 3/4 of a century. Now it was weather-beaten and disused. Weeds and other feral vegetation began to leave their mark on the building. Being away from the city, it was now used as a sanctuary for peace and tranquility. It legally belonged to the Chowdhuries, their 3rd generation, Sunny Chowdhury. He was now there with his cousin and his 2 friends to spend the weekend. A bit dusty, na? He spoke more out of a need to break the silence. His baby skin complexion was rosy red from exertion. Sunny Chowdhury, alias Sumo, was just like his name suggested, chubby and well padded with blubber. He was extremely intelligent, a talented stage actor and director, bespectacled nerdy, and the first cousin of Narayan. Narayan set down his traveller's case and studied the gloomy and musty interior. The high ceiling further increased the gloom. He hated high ceilings. This gave him a feeling of insecurity. "This place will work," said Narayan, as if to fill in the silence. The silence in the building was deafening. Ganesh, beside him, simply sucked on a cigar and stared stonily back at him. Ganesh spoke rarely. This irritated him. Ganeshpati Holloman was a muscular youth, almost bullish in physique. His limbs appeared disproportionate. Short hands and long legs. He was tall and dark chocolate skinned with a stubborn brush of hair. His forehead narrowed forward, giving him a minotaur like look. If born in the dark ages, he would easily candidate for a freak show. He originally hailed from the West Indies and was a half breed. His father was a Caribbean and mother an Indian. He was heavily hooked to drugs, while the others were just amateurs. He smoked, snorted, and even injected himself with lethal stuff. None of them liked him, and his silence was sinister. An aura of menace seemed to emanate from him. They had carted him along with a plan. Shankar killed the van's engine and walked into the building. Tall, well built, and energetic, he seemed to have walked off the fashion ramp. Everyone called him Shan. The only problem was his temper. He could lose it in a jiffy. This landed him in troubles several times. To add to it, he carried a Glock pistol. Joining his friends, he looked around the large but gloomy place and said, "Doesn't this place remind you of the Ramses Horror House in the movies? Only scarier, yaar." Above them, a few birds fluttered out of their niches. Startled, the group broke into nervous laughter. Only Ganesh remained silent. Then his eyes grew alert and his muscles tense, as if he had sighted something at the far end of the house. Only Sumo saw this momentary change. He looked in the direction and saw the foreboding semi-gloom. He shivered inwardly and hurried up the dungeon-like stone stairs after his friends. It led to the first floor. A long passage lay before them, with rooms on the left and right adjacent to each other. Even in daylight, the passage looked scary. Sumo wondered how he would spend the night. The noon was hot and silent, too silent. Not a soul or even an insect disturbed the silence outside. It created an ethereal feeling, eerie. Each of them occupied the adjacent rooms, but Ganesh chose the one at the extreme end of the passage, away from the rest.